Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name's Scott.
And I'm Carl.
It's far away.
Hey, everyone.
How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Good.
We're at number 52.
52. Wow.
Yeah.
52 weeks in a year. What's going on? No, I know. I remember seeing this once in the show. Can we do 53? And I'm like trying to be a smartass. But we did one pre 2024. So I don't know. We're going to end up like being over 52 for sure. So I guess we're like 54, 55. I don't know. How many more weeks are left in this year?
I think 3.
So
we are planning on having one every week, even during Christmas. We'll just figure it out. So
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But so there you go. We'll the show must go on no matter what.
And you know what's continuing? What the big news this week?
Big news this week. Don't tell. Oh, is this Canada Post?
Canada Post. Canada
Post.
Yeah, it's being forced back to work. It's being forced back to work. Actually, on Tuesday. We record this on Wednesday. And I think they're accepting packages and mail on Thursday.
Yes.
So by the time you post this, they should already be accepting mail. So, however, it's December 18th today. So it's kind of too late anyways.
Oh, you mean for getting sales out to Christmas?
Yeah, I'm still not going to open my store.
Oh, yeah.
Because I won't get it to them on time. So too
Okay.
late.
I haven't had those requests like I have in past years where, you know, this is like specifically saying this is a Christmas gift. Will I get it in time? Now I've had a couple in the last couple of weeks where they're asking, they kind of point more towards the strike being an issue than anything else. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember getting those messages in the past where this is a Christmas gift. Can you guarantee it before Christmas? And obviously you can't guarantee it. Right. So.
No, that stuff used to drive me nuts. That's the other reason I just shut off the store. I don't want to worry about it, to be honest. It's like I don't need that sale that I want to worry about getting to them. And then like I never watch tracking. Once I ship something, I never look at tracking unless it's something really, $500, $600 thing I might check. But apart from that, and I don't want to do that same thing for Christmas gifts. So
yeah, no, I do check the tracking on a few items, especially if they're lava lamps for $400.
What are you talking about?
And stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. But I do check once in a while, or, like it's a ton of toy soldiers for over $2,000, like those type of shippings. Like I like to kind of monitor.
Oh yeah. I would monitor that too. Well, I just like how you just take that screwdriver.
Just kidding, Carl.
I know.
But
you've put so much work into it. Like I don't begrudge anyone from having a good sale. I'm jealous, but
dude, it's actually been a pretty good week considering that there's issues with the shipping stuff. But I had a nice big Quaker State oil sign, probably from the 50s, could be 40s, definitely old, but I had that in my booth, and I had a higher price. Like I value that around probably closer to $500 based on the condition, because it had some rough spots, and there was one area where it was split in half just from rusting and stuff. But the guy I bought it from had put a wooden frame on it, so it actually was put back together and looked really good as you could get it. Anyway, guy came and offered me $400, so I took it. It's been sitting around for a while, so paid $180 for it, and after commission and everything, I still get $360. So I doubled my money, and it looked good in the booth. I liked it, but it was time for it to move. So
no, that's a good point.
And it didn't take up much space because it kind of sat high it sat really high, right? So it didn't really. It wasn't like it was taking up a lot of space. It was hanging high where very few items can go unless they're like a pitch or something. So, yeah, so that was good. So I had a pretty decent week, actually.
Oh,
but
good.
You're shut down. How was your store, Carl?
The booth was okay. I
The
think it
booth,
was
yes.
150 or something like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's good for me.
Do you think
Uh,
that's a Christmas bump, or do you think it just?
yeah, yeah, I think that was a Christmas bump. Like it was, I wouldn't say it was normal traffic, right? And like the weekend before, which I had missed, was actually the worst, the deadest traffic they've ever had, and that was because of a storm the night before. And so if I had to miss a week,
That
not being
was a
in the
good one.
booth, that was the week to do it.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's what you want to hear, right?
I know. Well, yeah, in a way. Eh? So, oh, you missed nothing. Yeah. So there's one more week before Christmas at the booth. Um, yeah, my friend came in who was selling some stuff through my booth. He came in and hung out for a while. That was really good. That was nice. And yeah, we had to reprice a bunch of stuff because like the stupid stickers come off sometimes. Like you put stickers on all the prices. Like my criteria is if you're gonna put something in the booth, I want you to price it because I don't want to have to worry about like what the price is. But so we had to reprice a bunch of stuff. Whatever, it doesn't matter who. That's boring. It was
No.
fine. It was good. It was a good 8 hours of talking, and it was good to see my friends there. And I'm getting closer to everyone there, and that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, that's good because that's kind of the biggest. Again, it's not even really a fear, but you want to be like you want to be able to surround yourself with good people that you can get along with. You know what I mean? So
Oh
wherever
yeah.
wherever you go, you don't you just that makes it so much easier. So it's good to hear that's the case for sure.
Oh yeah. No, people are great. Like there's always that. It's high school wherever you go. I
Yes.
swear, every hobby I've ever had, it's high school. Whether it be like aquarium people, astrology, astronomy people, poker, magic, flea market reselling, it's high school. There's
Yeah.
always going to be high school.
Yeah.
Uh, I just I usually find it amusing. Like it takes me a lot not to like someone. Like they have to be real, you know, not a good person. And some of the nicest people are some of the people you look at first and you're kind of going like, oh, what's up with this? And actually the nicest people. They just don't care how they look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in reselling. There's a lot of funny people in this. I love that. I love all the unique personalities.
Well,
Like,
I'm the same way. I think the unique personalities is what makes it fun, right?
oh,
Like,
it's great.
yeah,
It's so not boring,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
If everybody kind of picked the same way, looked at the same things the same way,
yeah,
acted the same way, it's boring, right? For sure.
yeah.
So
And everyone,
I actually very much into that category. Like I find the unique people are the interesting people. You know what I mean?
oh
It's
yeah,
usually the snobby, I'm too good for everyone people. I don't want to deal with them anyway because they're like boring, right? So
exactly. And
yeah,
everyone has interesting backstories.
yeah,
It's funny. Everyone has stuff, you
yeah,
know. Uh and sometimes, people have had stuff happen and, they've found their way doing to this for whatever reason. And I think that's great. So no, I like I said, I like that. The flea market, it's good. Nothing really else to report there. Uh the private pick. So she got back to me.
Oh,
She didn't
oh,
ghost me.
awesome.
I honestly, we've been slow at communicating,
Okay,
and you'll be proud of me, Scott.
yeah,
I sent her an email and I said, how about I just come over and we can figure this stuff out? Because she sent me another huge long list of stuff, right?
yeah.
Which included things like a ironing board and beanie babies and stuff like that, and other stuff.
Can I just stop you there at Beanie Babies? If you can get them super dirt cheap and you got a booth, I would recommend to grab them because you're probably looking at least $5 a piece, and you may find that valued in the value list. I don't know if you know that about Beanie Babies. Maybe you do, but if you do put them in your booth, you will sell them for like $5 range.
I can make a McDonald's joke here, but I won't.
Go ahead. I don't care what.
Well, McDonald's stuff doesn't sell in your booth either. So why
Oh,
would you
I
have
know what you're getting to at that. Yes,
it?
McDonald's stuff, especially if it's the new toys in the bag. five
Yeah.
bucks is a shoe in. Is a shoe in. And if you
Um,
get something like Alvin and the Chipmunks or something like that,
yeah.
$10, $10 a piece, and you'll pick them up for
Oh
hundred
wait,
in a
no,
box for
shut this,
20 bucks.
shut up. I can use this as my bolo next week. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm not even joking. I'm gonna use that. Oh, so that's the secret, everyone. It's a little tease for the future. Uh,
Sorry,
anyways, yeah,
buddy.
okay. Well, the Beanie Babes. Anyways, my point being, she said, okay, yeah, that sounds great. We'll get together in January and February, which is good. I don't really want to deal with anything else during this time, anyways.
Yeah.
So, and she did mention some things that I'm not sure what I think of, like fossil watches. I don't know if those are valuable. Okay.
No, they're a tough sell. They will show you might sell them online, but so I I'm going to digress a little bit here. The reason I know about Beanie Babies is because I did storage lockers and there was
Mm,
Beanie Babies in there. And if I didn't grab them, I wouldn't even look at them at yard sales, but I will pick them up. Now, why do I say storage locker? Because I also found fossil watches in there, and they were good working condition, and I couldn't sell them myself, but you might be able to get like 30-35 bucks online. Check them out. They might have changed, but that's kind of what I found.
right. So, like, that's a good example of the fear. Like, if I was offered a bunch of fossil watches and I don't know, I have a feeling they weren't worth anything, but that's not fair because I don't know, right?
Well, what's a bunch? Like 10?
I had no idea. She said,
Like if I picked up 10, said like, listen, these are really tough. They're long term items. I don't even know if they're working. If they're not, I'm going to have to get batteries for them. Just I give you like, you got 10 of them here. You know, like I'm looking at about 25 bucks. You sell one, you get your money back and everything else is fine if you want to work it that way, Carl. Like that's what I would say. But you know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
was going to say 50. So $5 a watch.
Well, I mean, even something like that, I probably would go, but I would start at 25 because she's going to try to bump it up, right?
She did too on something else. Like there
Okay.
was I mentioned a couple prices. I know this is before we talked. And oh no, that's a lie because we must have talked. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It was like if Harry's listening, it's his favorite thing. Just a insulator, but it's not even glass. It's just like what do they call
Stay away from insulators.
it? Ceramic.
Yeah.
And just to like get the energy going, I said, "Oh, I'll give you 5." Right?
For
I'll probably
one?
get for one. I'll probably get $5 if I'm lucky for it back. Right?
Yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, how about 7?" And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I didn't even reply to that because it's like I don't even want it for 5. I'm not going to buy it for 7.
Yeah, I would say the only ones that have a little bit of value, and I'm talking like $10 on a good day, is maybe like an aqua blue or like a light, like a green, like not a dark dirty green, but a green. Now the school of thought on those, just for your own information, Carl, and you might know this, but the more crap that's in those things, kind of the better.
Yeah.
And I was even told that there was somebody that found a dime. So what happened was these things were made out of broken glass, and they would
Yeah.
just crush this glass and they would throw it in the furnace and melt it. But they used shovels to pick up this broken glass to remelt it. But in there could have been a nail, a dime, could have been other stuff. So if you get something with something in there, for whatever reason, that's what brings. Now there was one with a dime in it, and apparently it went for $1,000.
I believe it. What's the chance of a dime getting in there?
Yeah. Um, so you can find all sorts of junk. If you hold them up to the light, you're going to see a lot of white dots and different things, right? So to me, it makes no sense. Like,
They're the two things I hate: cheap and heavy.
and they're heavy, and yeah, and they're
Common.
going to be all chipped and broken. So you want to make
Oh,
sure that they're
yeah.
not chipped and broken. They got to be
Good
in good
point.
shape. Now there's Harry will tell you a bunch of stories. Now there are ones with value. Like I think some of the light amber ones can
Yeah.
have value. I think there's ones with mouse ears. They can get up into the $30-$40
Yeah.
range.
Yeah. I heard of the mouse
So
ear ones. Yeah.
yeah, so there's different styles, but I never see them out in the wild. The only ones I ever see are a dime a dozen ones that are like, I don't know, cone shaped, I guess you'd call it. And and if it's clear glass, I don't think you can give those away.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
So
So they're just keep it in mind. It'd be what I would do if I were you, Carl, is see if anybody sells them there, because you might be able to sell them to that person. So if you can pick up like, I don't know, 100 of them for $20, you might be able to sell them 100 of them. And now they have to be in good condition. They have to be colored. They can't be clear and they can't be all broken and chipped. But you might be able to sell 100 of them to that guy for $100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So keep that in mind because that person knows what they're doing. They probably have people that come there and buy stuff off them like that all the time.
Oh, I would say like half my sales are to other booth owners, you know, who are buying it because they have someone in mind.
Yep.
Or they think they have a market that's better than where we are, that they feel they can get. It's worth their time.
But don't let him pick through it, because what he's going to do is he goes, oh, well, let me take a look, and I'll buy this one for $1 and that one. No, listen, you pick them all, or you're paying $10 a piece and you can cherry pick. You know what I mean? Tell him that, because he's going to check. He'll give you $1 for the one that's worth $40, but you don't know why it's worth 40. He probably doesn't even know why. He's probably just saying, oh, I think I can get 40 for this, right? Like that's, and he'll put a $40 tag on it. But to every collector, there's a different reason why something should be valued. You know what I mean? It's one of those, it's almost like the stamp collectors where, well, this one's worth something because it's cut thinner on this side, or it's completely cut equally around, or, you know, whatever they say. They just make these rules up in my mind. I don't know for sure, but that's the way I look at it. Yeah. And so I think they just make up the rules as they go along. So, but
yeah, that's all good advice. So anyways, I don't have to deal with this until January, February, which is good for both of us. I think we're like, because I don't want to go back and forth like, no, not this. How much you want for this? This, like, no, yeah. I just did what you said. It was the easiest solution too. Just saying, let's come over.
Yeah, and you're going to look for everything, things that are hanging on the wall when you walk in there. Yeah. Like, don't. This is what I try to tell myself, because I catch myself doing this. When they're talking to you and looking at you and you're like looking all around the house, try to avoid that, because I do that sometimes. I'm looking at everything on their walls and everything.
And you're not listening?
I'm not listening.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. It's like I won't really look around. I'll just listen to them, but then I'll miss stuff.
Yeah, don't miss stuff. You have to, because she might be looking to, just because it's displayed or it's on a wall doesn't mean she's not willing to sell it. You know what I mean?
I might be able to go more than once, right? It's not like it's
100%. Yeah.
So if I treat her right, then, and be fair, like since my first one, I might pay up a bit just to get. I'm not saying I ain't gonna waste money. Don't get me wrong. I can see like your eyes roll, but no, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying I'm gonna be less concerned about that, because I want to get the experience.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm willing to pay a bit for experience here, right?
But
I'm not going to buy that insulator for $20. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Right? I'm not a complete idiot. I'm most of an idiot, but not a complete idiot.
No, I don't think you're a complete idiot at all. I think actually you're on the extreme nice side, so you'll take advantage of yourself.
That's what my wife Amy says. Don't go buying their junk. Don't bring a bunch of junk into our house.
Yeah. And
she's right.
Don't feel obligated, because they will push things hard on you.
I don't want that. I don't want that ironing board. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, if they smell weakness, Carl, but you could say, listen, I know people at the booth. I'll ask them, and I can always come back and grab that later if somebody else wants it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because ask around next Sunday. Just say, listen, I'm going to this pick. I know there's an ironing board there. Is anybody interested in it? And they're probably not going to want to pay more than $10 for it, but she's probably going to want more. You know what I mean? But some people will like. So what they use those for, Carl, is for creating shelves and tables and displays and stuff. So if you have a hallway table, somebody might put an old ironing board there. Because I think you're talking about the wooden ones with the folding legs.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so.
Because the wooden ones with folding legs, they'll make tables or shelves or different things out of those too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I had no idea.
Yeah. So if it's a metal one and all that stuff, no. But if it's a wooden one,
I think she did say it was wooden, actually.
She did?
She might have, yeah. I'll check.
So if it's a wooden one, you might even want to get it yourself for like $10, because you can use that as a shelf or a centerpiece table and put stuff on it and still tag the ironing board, right? And if she says, "Oh, I want $50," just say, "Listen, I can't even sell it for $50. They're not what they used to be. I could probably get about $30, and because I pay commission and everything, I can offer you 10. If you're really into it, I'll bump it up to 15, but I can't pay more than that. Like, you're gonna have a tough time getting rid of that for any more. But that's up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't go to just go to the iron board later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just say, we'll come back to that. Let me think about that. Don't give her a price right there. You know what I mean? If she wants that high of a price, just say, well, let's come back to that. You know what I mean? Let's see what else you got. Because you don't want to start arguing about an ironing board that you have no real care in until you start seeing everything else around.
Well, that's a really good point. I was listening again to our podcast. Of course, I listen every week, but I listened to the last one. And you were talking about like when you went to look at the guy who was selling the car parts, and you had lots of good advice in that one too. It's just like, I don't want to come back after they cherry picked it. I want the price here and there, all this stuff. So
yeah, because I just don't want them to be confrontational if I do come back. Well, you said you were going to do this. And I'm like, I want to set it here. This is where I'm coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it avoids any problems in the future, and it avoids being called back for a waste of my time. If I get called back there and all this stuff has been rummaged through, like, dude, this isn't what I agreed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just said it straight up. But you don't want to, the other side is you don't want to start getting into a discussion about the first item, which is not.
You don't want to get caught. Yeah.
You don't want to, yeah. So we'll come back to that. I don't disagree with your price, but let's come back to that a little bit later. Let's see what else you got. Right? So that's what I would do too. So, but you'll probably find like VCRs. You might even find a VCR new in the box. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what you're, and that's a $500 piece of equipment if it's new in a box. You never know what you're going to find there, Carl.
She sent me pictures of jackets, but I don't think they were anything interesting. But we'll see. That will be in January and February. And
last time we talked about leather jackets.
Yeah, we did. That was an interesting discussion. Yeah.
Now, leather jackets will sell out of your booth. You don't even have to put those online.
I would never put those online. If I didn't have the booth, I wouldn't take. If I didn't have the booth, honestly, I probably wouldn't be interested in a private pick, because I'd probably get tons of stuff that I have no interest in trying to move. Like she said, she had an Underwood typewriter, right?
Yeah.
Like I would have no interest in that if I'm trying to put that online, because people think those are worth a lot of money, and I usually find that they're not. So,
they're not. And that's like, see, this is fun. This is good. I like talking about this because this is the stereotypical situation where everybody has value in the wrong stuff.
So my Underwood typewriter, my Beanie Babies, my
wooden ironing board. You know what I mean? Okay, all those are like $30 each. Here's 10 each. But I'm telling you, dude, she's gonna, when you get there, you start looking around, you start going to get a vibe of what they might have based on what kind of stuff they have displayed. Do they have Precious Moments, Royal Daltons, or do they actually have some really cool art and maybe some bronze figures, or who knows what? You know what I mean? I'm just
art is interesting because, like, honestly, a lot of the guys who do well at the flea market are doing art.
Art sells. Art and books, like those two things, people don't.
Yeah, I did. I've been selling books, actually. You know what? I've been selling manga there. So I can't really complain about that.
So when you look at art, like I like anything with nude figures in it does well, but there's a lot of art that doesn't do well too. You know what I mean? You kind of have to pick a feel for what sells good. But anything old and funky looking, like, you can just look at it and say that's kind of like an old folk arty type look. To me, those always do well. But even a lithograph, like I sold one for $120, and it was just a girl and a dog, but it was Victorian, and it was in this. I don't know if I like the frame or dislike the frame. It was so over the top, like,
oh really,
ornate kind of almost tacky, but it was totally Victorian. Yeah.
That'd be another interesting Bolo's frames. But
They're
I'd
a
have to
tough, they're
research
a
that.
tough sell. They're a tough sell though, dude. Like
I the first week I sold some frames.
really.
Well, they had
If
pictures of
you
them.
have that's a gold mine. If you can sell frames out of your booth, all the power to you because you can find them a dime a dozen, even old ones. But I can't sell them in my booth. I don't know why. If they don't have a
Maybe
picture in
it could have been just the. Well, no, I had a picture in it, but when I bought it, I just bought it for the frame because it looked like a 1930s frame.
yeah.
I can't even really describe it. It was like green and yellow. But anyways, but I haven't sold a picture since. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. The other thing I found out this weekend, and I knew this already, is I can get flustered, man.
Why?
It's my personality type. So
No, but like flustered from what?
just talking, like negotiating. It's like we're talking, and it's like, and then what was I was selling a Smurf house and a strawberry shortcake doll. I wasn't asking much. I was asking $25 for the house. I think $5 for the doll, maybe 8 or something stupid. And they said, "Well, if we bought both," and I said 25, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And they said, I didn't expect them to reply back with a 20. And then I was like, okay, 20. And I was like, why did I sell it for 20? That house I could get 54 online. So I wasn't upset or anything. It was just like, oh, like I just kind of like answered too quick, without thinking.
Yeah. So you wanted what did you want? 25 for one and 8 for another or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I would
So
have just said, listen, you buy this for 25, I'll throw the other thing in for free. That's it.
so you would have done the same thing. And what happens is,
I don't know what sold for 54 online if it was big or
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know how big it would and cumbersome and is it easy to take photos of and stuff. But if I had it for 25 and something for 8, you probably paid less than $1 for the $8 item.
I did.
Yeah. So I would just say, listen,
I want all the money.
but I wouldn't have went lower than 20. Dude, I'm giving you this for free, man. Like, this is worth more. Like, what are you talking about? $20. Here's 25. Throw this in for free. You can have it for free. It's on me. It's on me, man. What's he gonna say?
He's gonna hit me and like tear down the booth.
But don't get flustered. It's a game, dude. It's like
no, I'm just saying I get flustered and like that's just my personality type.
Yeah.
That's probably why I have my rules, right? Because it helps me not get flustered.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I just remember the one time I negotiated something, and I'm pretty sure I paid more per item than he was offering single when I came up with the bulk price. It's because I don't think things through. It's just funny. It's just like I have strengths. I have strengths. I don't say I don't have strength. I'm just saying it's been fun learning the other thing. It's a weird balance between having a high enough price of the booth to leave some room when they're inevitably going to haggle, but not so high that they're never going to buy. Right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny. And some people will just pay full price.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then you're like, oh, I left. Sometimes I've done this. I said, oh, they're looking for the money, and I'll just say it was 25 or 30. And I said, oh, just give me 25. That's good enough. Because I feel like I'll give them a deal anyways, even if they didn't ask for it. Because it's just, I don't know. It felt
Dude, it's like that oil lamp, or not oil lamp, the lava lamp I just sold. Like, I don't know how many times I've given people 15% off, but the person that bought it paid full price. They didn't even care.
That's the nice thing about eBay.
Yeah.
There's no discussion. They just pay it and then you're done. That's kind of why I like about eBay.
Dude, I had it was either 34 or 134 watchers on that thing in the last 24 hours before.
34 watchers.
Before it sold. You know how it says in 24 hours you had so many watchers?
It must have shown up in some Google search or something, or maybe someone made a reference to it on a website.
You know where it went to?
No.
Guelph.
Oh.
Well,
thank God.
Down the road.
Yeah, I'm tempted, with the lava lamp and all the liquid, you kind of just go, yeah, I could just drive it. I'm not saying you do that, but I'm just saying I could see especially for how much they paid, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just UPS'd it, but
Yeah, I that's the best way to do it. It's just funny though.
It only cost me. What did it cost me? $30 to ship. I charged 25 for it, and it was like $30.
Yeah.
Like, and I boxed it pretty good. I was expecting a $50 charge, and I get there and it's like $30. And where is this thing going? And I
I
checked, and
know.
it was Guelph.
I've had that happen too. This is going to cost me $80 and cost like 15. It's like what? Why?
Yeah, like
And you're
what's
like, am
going
I going
on
to get
here?
a chart? Like, did I put the dimensions and weight in right? Like, I've had that. I've had that. Unfortunately, I have it the other way too. It's like, this is how much?
Yeah, no, for sure. Usually it is the other way. So when it's in your favor, it's like a shocker. But no, that's I don't know. I don't know what to
Anyways,
say.
that was my weekend at the flea market.
Well, I
Oh,
can't wait to hear, and it's going to be in next year. So this will, for you people that are going to stay with us. So hopefully you do stay with us as a viewer and maybe even commenter. But I look forward to hearing your experience with your first pick, private pick, and going with that, Carl. I think I remember my first pick. Remember you asked me that
yeah,
question?
yeah. I asked offline. Yeah,
So this would have been, and I'm pretty sure it was the first pick. It was definitely one of my earlier days. So someone had come to the booth. So there's kind of two picks, but one's not a private pick, but the person brought a ton of stuff to the shop and it was all video game stuff. So that was kind of nice. But that wasn't a true private pick where you go to someone's home. The one that the first, I'm pretty sure it was the first one, was when I think it was out like Cayuga way. So it was about I don't know, 40 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes from here. And they were clearing out a house. It was a family. Their parents had passed away. And dude, I was so upset that I wasn't the first one going through this house because it would have been a gold mine. It would have been amazing. And it was basically all that was left was the stuff downstairs. And it was beer mirrors. It was like Budweiser plastic lamps, but they're advertisements, but it was all barware. And some of the mirrors can be tough to sell, but these ones were really good. And they were clocks and there were all sorts of stuff. I don't even know what I left behind because I was such a rookie at that time. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I still leave lots of stuff behind. I overlook stuff all the time for sure. We all do, I'm sure. Um, but I was really a rookie then. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
so, but I had a huge pile of stuff. And if you look, I still have a Stroh's lamp. Or sorry, it's like a light in my booth right now. And I put it up probably a couple months ago. Just because you get to death pile stuff and different things. But that was probably my first one. And I tried to be very fair, but I was not being fair because my knowledge base, I was so afraid of overpaying that I really lowballed. And they came up and I agreed. So we were all happy about it. Like everybody was fine. But then when I got home and actually looked what this stuff was up, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You know what I mean? They just want to get rid of it. But I was more afraid of overpaying than I was about like insulting them. These guys were fun. Like these guys,
This is funny. This is because this just points to our personality differences.
yeah.
You're afraid of overpaying, and I'm afraid of underpaying.
Well, I was yard sale guy. So
Right,
my
right.
minds were always on yard sales, right? So it's just funny how, I'm just like, wow, like some of these lamps and different clocks and like it was crazy. It was crazy. But it was all bar, like it was bar stuff. It was I got a blender that was one of those uh I think it's
Blended
called
mix.
a Margaritaville.
Oh, I have one over here.
Yeah, like it was, what's that
Yeah.
guy's name? Oh, the burger. He sings the burger song. What's his name? Jimmy Buffett. So it was a Jimmy Buffett brand, like a name brand margarita blender.
Right.
And I like basically that thing paid for everything. Like I think I paid like a couple $100 for the whole pile. That was in there, great shape, and I sold that for like $180 or something. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
crazy. Those things are worth money, eh?
Oh, I know. I have one over there.
And
I
I think
knew.
if I was selling on eBay at the time, which I wasn't, I was just doing the antique booth. Um, I think I could have got more. So
Yeah. Would it be? It's a big heavy thing.
yeah, but you could even part them out and get
Oh
money,
yeah.
like if you wanted to. What do they go for now?
I'm checking now.
This one had the box and everything. It was
Okay.
used, but it was how they had the box and everything.
Wow. It's so sad. I had to use Google spell check on it.
But it was one of those things. It was just a great pick, and I guarantee you, I left things behind.
Oh, there's
So
different versions, but um,
this was a big one, and this would have been probably, I don't know. That was probably 8 years, 10 years ago. eight
there's
years
one
ago.
here that's not the version I have, but it goes for 300 American. But it's not the version I have. It has 4 tops. So I have a simpler version. I know this is hard to. The version I have is about $100, $150, something like American. So
Okay.
what is that now in Canadian? $3 billion or something.
Yeah, no doubt. Eh?
They've come
But
down a bit, actually. I think.
they've come down.
Yeah,
Or,
here's the
or
Jimmy Buffett Margaretville frozen concentration. This person was just asking $50, $50,
it might not work. Maybe it's market.
$130. Yeah, it's hard to tell because sometimes the shipping is a little funny too.
Yeah.
It's still worth
So,
money. Don't get me wrong. It's just
but this one was a big one, and it was good. Like it was a really good one. And the person that bought it, I wasn't there when they bought it, but apparently they were so happy that they got one. So,
oh, I love those things.
and it was super clean, super clean.
Someone on Reddit posted this thing and they said, "Oh, I saw it on eBay and I got this great, review. The person was so happy. It wasn't even like on Reddit for eBay. It was like just a comment, and people were like, "That's fake. You're just making that up." It's like, no, that's real. I get those sometimes too. Those amazing messages, right?
Yeah.
People can be really happy with their purchases. So,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
there's some amazing buyers out there. Like just great people. People like it's so hard in this industry because we don't on eBay. You don't see the other side. So that could be both
I would say
negative and
it this way:
positive.
there's a lot of great buyers out there, and there's a few assholes,
Yes.
right? But we
We
always
remember
like
the
to think
assholes.
that's what you've said before, and I agree.
Yeah.
You always remember the negatives, but there's a lot of. I've actually started to respond to every positive comment with just a thank you. I never did that before, but I just I think it's important if they're going to take the time to give me a positive review. I'm just going to thank them.
So when you do that, because I thought about that too, because I feel guilty because I have automatic feedback
Yes, I do that as well. But
because it was just too much work, right?
yeah.
But after, can you? So when you're are you replying to the feedback on your thing with a reply? Like where are you replying to them?
So you know how you get that little number every time you get a feedback, like
Yeah.
you can see where. So I'm on there a couple times a day, so I always know when there's been like feedback been left.
I always
So
look because I'm scared of a negative. Yeah.
I always look because I'm scared of it. I look because I'm scared of the negative. I want to deal with it right away and get it out of
Oh,
there.
me too.
But
There's
but
nothing worse.
but so I always go in there and check, and every time there's like something new, um, I click onto it, and then it gives me a chance to reply to it. Now I've already automatically sent them a positive back because I'm always afraid. I've just set it to automatically respond with a positive back because I'm afraid I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, me too.
But in addition, I do a reply and just say thank you. Right?
Okay, I didn't know I could do that. I should start doing that for the really amazing ones because I feel guilty because it's like they wrote me a book basically of how happy they are, and all I'm saying is great buyer, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now sometimes if they leave a really big message, like I might go in there and like I thought it was a really like it was one of my favorite finds, or I'll give them a little extra on that. I've also had people where they messaged me, and I think I've said this on one of the shows before, but somebody bought a mouth harp, And they asked me to, like, is it bent? Is it this? Blah blah blah. I plan on playing it, and I'm like, you always think, oh my god, this is going to
You're a
be a
problem
headache,
customer.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, as far as I know, everything looks really good on it, right? So they ended up buying it, and they reported immediately as soon as they got it. It was like, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I think they were Alberta, and they wanted to send me a video of them playing it.
Oh, I gotten pictures back. People have mailed me pictures they drew and
Well,
and sent them to me.
so they wanted, I think they wanted to email or something, but for some reason I couldn't get the like they weren't able to send the video.
Oh yeah.
So they wanted me to go to another page, and I'm like, shit, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? It was my
There's a
earlier
weird
day.
balance. There's a weird balance between appreciative, but you don't.
I don't want to overstep eBay's
Yeah.
policies.
Oh, I wasn't worried about that. I'm just worried
But
about
back
like,
then I was, because I was newer, right, to the
yeah, yeah,
platform.
yeah.
But I just thought that person is so excited, and they want to they wanted me to see the blood. I had one on Etsy too, where I sold a dulcimer, but it was, I don't want to say a homemade. I mean, you can say it's handmade because I'm pretty sure they probably all are to a degree. But this one had, I know of the person that owned it and likely made it, but it was a lot of Asian influence ingrained in it. Like there was carvings and inlays of dragons all throughout this dulcimer, which is a wooden. It's a 4 stringed instrument that sits on your lap, but it's a very folk like like folk music type stuff, right? From the US, like southern folk music. Um but they were so happy when they got it, right? And they
Mhm.
wanted the measurements, and they were like asking a lot of questions. But
I
this
do
was
get
on
nervous
Etsy.
with those. Yeah,
But when they got it, they were like, "This is way better than I expected." You
I
know?
get those feel great. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
someone who replied back saying this is so much better condition than you described it in. There's
yeah,
only one page with an issue. Everything else was top notch, and it's like, oh yeah, thanks. Like, because we do try to do that, right?
yeah.
I'm not into hiding damage.
No, I think you're just going to give you grief in the end, anyways, to do that.
Well, I have no
But
skills, anyways. Too, I'd
you
feel
know,
bad.
I think I've learned this probably from you and a couple other people when I first started on eBay. But kind of kind of underrate your, like, it, instead of saying like don't get me wrong, I do put very good on a few things, but instead of saying very good, say good condition.
Yeah, under
You know what?
promise, over deliver is
Yeah,
really true on eBay because people are buying things sight unseen, and you might even miss something when you're listing it. So you want to give yourself a little, in my opinion, a little wiggle room.
yeah,
It's like, but even in the booth, I make sure like if something's damaged. Like just the other day, another booth owner was buying something from me, a fan,
yeah,
and I said, "You saw the damage, right?" And he said, "Oh God, no, I didn't see the damage. Thank you." Right? Like I make sure I do that because you know. But a lot of people, a lot of sellers won't, unfortunately. But on eBay,
yeah,
it's especially important when you're doing with online because there's a lot of trust from both sides. They could always say, "I received an empty box. Give me my money." Like there's a lot of trust. So
yeah. I mean, I think eBay's got our back on a lot of that kind of
yeah,
stuff
it's
too,
never happened, but knock on
to a
wood.
degree. Like, I mean, they could say a lot of that kind of stuff, but I think
Hmm.
those type of people are not going to be there long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
don't think it happens nearly. Like you said, there's a small percentage that are assholes.
and I like Jamie Thrift on Fire's comment. He I watch his show on YouTube there, and he's been a guest on my Sunday show as well. But he said once, like, for the most people aren't buying stuff so they can return it,
No,
or right, or to
good
complain.
point.
Like they're buying it because they want it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Well,
that really puts it in perspective. Like, yeah, like like how many people are really wasting people's time by trying to buy something just to return it? You know
I
what I
know,
mean?
right? Or like these
So
obscure things. Oh, what's a good? I don't know. Who's buying my Thomas the Train and just to try and rip me off on Thomas the Train? They're probably not.
Yeah.
If you're selling laptops or cell phones.
And why do it on eBay and get hassled when you can do it for no problem on Amazon? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, all those guys and girls should go to Amazon, push them over there.
Yeah, but anyway, so I thought that was, that's a pretty good point, right? Like, so uh so I don't know. I don't know where we're going with all this, but I kind of digressed. I think we digressed a bit from the first pick that I can remember.
Oh yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. And those people, I think there was like 6 brothers and sisters, and they were like just the nicest, friendliest. Like, they probably party every Saturday and just love life. You know what I mean? And everything was barware. Like, the whole basement was a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But I think I threw out a really obscure, like, I think I said like $150. And the guy goes, 200, you got a deal. And I'm like, all right, we'll do 200. But I don't really know. You know what I mean? I bought the blender because I thought it was pretty.
Well, see, that's it. I'm going in there. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, that's fine.
I'm going in there with that same scenario. It's like a lot of the stuff I don't know, like fossil watches, I don't know, or these jackets. I don't know what good brands are, right? So I'm kind of in the same game. And it's like, like you said, don't worry about it. This is for me. It's going to be the experience, assuming it actually happens, and we'll go from there. And hopefully, the first of many picks.
But just really know that I personally don't get more than $45 a leather jacket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't even have any leather jackets. It was just an example. But yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe they did or something, because
no.
last week and stuff too. So
they have other types. It was just an example of like where things are not,
But don't be afraid to look at a closet if they want to. And you know what? If their husband, maybe her husband passed away, if they go into like duck calls and hunting stuff, man, some of those duck calls, now don't pay a lot. You know what I mean? I get $10. She ain't gonna know what a duck call's worth anyways. But it's hard to get more than $10, and some of them are that way. But there's a lot of them in there that are 50, 150, 200, or like they could probably go way more. But duck calls, some old fishing lures. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she showed me fishing lures, but they look like modern ones to me.
Because when you're going into an estate, like, think about what's in your house. Think about what's in someone's house. They're going to go fishing. They're going to go golfing. They're going to have some sort of hobby. There's going to be all sorts of There's going to be all sorts of things in there that you're not ready for, because you're going in there. Oh, I'd like to maybe grab a couple pieces of art in a really good book. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you've got shoes, you got shirts, you got watches, you got jewelry, you've got everything. Comic books. You don't know. He might have a Superman comic that his dad gave to him or he bought when he was a kid. You know what I mean? And it might be the number one Superman comic worth $1 million, Carl. You don't know.
Man, I agree with
you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. So, and she's going to have no value in a lot of that stuff because it's not her thing. She's going to look at the jewelry because she's a woman and she goes, I know jewelry can be expensive. She ain't going to give two shits about the comics. She ain't gonna care about the fishing lures. You know what? My grandson would love these fishing lures. We take them out every weekend. This is awesome. Oh, just take it.
Scotty the Liar comes out.
The grandson loves to go fishing. He would love the lures.
You don't have a grandson.
I'm give it to him. I'm just saying, he goes fishing, and he would love.
You don't even have a grandson.
Well, not Steph does.
Oh yeah, okay, step grandson, sure.
So, that's not a lie, dude. It's, you know what I mean? There's no
it's
lie.
A reseller truth.
Here, here's a picture of him. Isn't he cute? Little 3-year-old kid. Oh, that's so cute. Here, give him these. That's what Adam does. His son, they give him stuff all the time.
Adam's picking up camera. I mean, his son's picking up camera. I want the camera. Point to that one. Get on that one. Yeah. Not that one. That one.
They're honestly, dude, I'm kind of being light about this, but honestly, their whole purpose is to get rid of stuff. You are going to get into situations like, I know a friend of Steph's had set us up with their friends, and they were downsizing, and there is an oval, and when friends and family set me up with stuff, I'm like super fair because I don't want that to come back on me.
That'd
You know
be.
what I
I
mean?
was gonna say that would terrify me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's fine. But we get half the time they're over. They're over. Like they're the opposite. They're unrealistic. You know what I mean? It'll be like this. It'll be, well, I know Scott and Steph. They sell antiques. They might be interested in buying some of your antiques. So then they're like, oh, antique dealers, we're going to look this stuff up. And then they find unrealistic markets, asking prices, never sold. Like I remember one we get over there, and they were, you know what? You asked me if these people were insulted, and I think they were at first, but they're probably either still stuck with it or gave it away. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they probably realized we were being very, very good. But she had an oval display display case. It was very plain. I sold a really good one for $400 or $500, but it had lions carved in the center, on the sides. It had clawed feet. This one was just plain. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And a lot of times it can be makers and all this other stuff, but there was nothing that stood out. It wasn't like Canadiana piece or anything like this. It was really just plain, and she had it filled with china, like plates.
Oh God. Yeah. I already said like in my email to this person, I don't want any China.
Yeah, but don't say anything like that. Wait till you get there. Wait till you get there.
Well, I already said it.
Yeah, but for in the future,
Okay.
just say, oh, you know what? I'll come and take
I
a
don't
look.
want your stamps. I don't want your China.
Because probably everybody else turned them down on that already. That had
I don't
maybe
want your
she talked to.
silver plated set of crap.
Yeah, so
You know how
she
cheap
doesn't
that
want
stuff
to hear
is?
that. You just
I
get
know.
your foot in the
I
door, and
know.
then you
It
sell
was
it.
sad how little those go for at auction though, like the silver plated China sets that they spent like
Oh yeah,
1,500 to 2,000 and they get like $20.
yeah,
No
yeah,
one wants that stuff.
yeah. So we got there, and the husband and wife, and this kind of pisses me off too. Like, well, what are you thinking? We have no idea.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
really? You don't
that's
have
what
any
you.
idea at all?
That's
Like,
the answer you're almost always going to get.
which is fine. So I said to them, well, listen, uh, I said, I felt I was being really good because I'm thinking 250, probably closer to $300. I don't think I can get 400 for the display case. I'd probably put 400 on it, but I'm thinking $300. So I'm like 30% roll. So I'm like, the dishes and stuff, really not interested in. And I said, really, what I could do is I could probably do $100, and I'd be okay for the case. And that's all they really wanted us there for, like nothing else. And maybe they shut me down because of what I said, but so I said I'd give you $100 for the display case. She goes, oh, like, I was like, do you think I'm is that too much? That's what I said to her. Do you think I'm like, is that too much? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
did I just offer too much? What's this?
yeah.
But that's what I said. I said, oh, do you think that's too much? She goes, no. She goes, those things are worth $1,000. And I'm
In
like,
what
really?
world?
I said, I can't. I said, I can't get rid of this for $400. I said, I'll be lucky to get 300 for it. I said, it's just a plain display case. They're a dime a dozen. I see them all the time, and they really are.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and she goes, oh, and I'm like, she goes like, well, what about the stuff inside? And I said, well, it's hard to get the dishes and stuff. And now I'm like, okay, this is friends of family of Steph's that recommended us to these people. Like,
Oh,
So I'm like,
I'd rather have a stranger in so many different ways. But
yeah.
yeah,
So I'm like, well, I said, really, the dishes and stuff really aren't my thing. I
yeah,
said, there's lots of them. I
yeah.
said, there's nothing really there. And I said, if you want to throw the dishes in and the display case, I said, I'll bump it up to 200, but there's nothing else here, right? They're not for me, like, not that I do. No, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, okay. And I said, if you go to antique stores, I said, you're going to find these for about $300. I said, that's what this is selling at. She goes, we went online and they're like $1,000, you know? And I'm like, there's no way. She's like, she wanted me to pay $600 for it. That's what she was expecting. But when I first asked her what she had in mind, oh, we don't know. We have no clue.
It was a lie.
Yeah, which is fine. But I mean, here's a good point, Carl. Like, both sides are playing the game. You gotta be in the game and play the game too. You know what I mean? Because you don't know really what you're walking into and what they're going to do, and you got to be willing to walk away. Like, just say, listen, that is not what I see. I'm in the market, and I am in the market. I know what's going on. But what you can do is try to get rid of it, because they were moving. They lived in a house, and I think they were downsizing to like a townhome or something. But if you can't get rid of it, give us a call back. I said, I'm not here to insult you, but I don't know if I can even sell these dishes. And that display case, by the time they take commission, I pay rent where I'm at, and by the time I pay commission and everything, there's not going to be enough left on there. And I don't sell things for free. Like, I gotta get a kickback too. So that was kind of it. They were a little perturbed. I mean, we left all, hey, have a good night, take care, thank you, blah blah blah. But that was probably, and that really, I don't know if that was a private pick or not. There was no picking going on, that's for sure.
I've had that before too. When someone said, like, someone I know said they wanted to sell these airplane magazines, or not. I mean, instruction manuals. They said, "Oh, I'll give you a discount. I'll just sell it to you for 80% of what I paid for it." And I was like, no. I said, usually I go like 30%. They were like, 30%, I'll sell it myself. I said, okay, that's fine. Like, I get that. You can sell it yourself.
Yep.
I doubt there's no way I was going to pick that up for 80%. I would lose so much money, because people, like, they look at what they paid sometimes and they want to get that back. Or they, like you said, they have the fantasy of like looking stuff up, looking, asking prices, looking at things in different condition is a big one. Or they look at like a different model completely, or not sold prices. Like, it happens all the time. So like, that's, it's hard to talk someone off that level sometimes, I would think. Because my rule is 30% too. If it's a private pick, 35% maybe, just because you're getting so much at once,
On a display case for family recommended private pick, like, I'm hoping there's lots of stuff. But if it was just a display case, like, to bump it up to 200 because it's a family thing, and I feel like maybe they were a little insulted. Like, maybe I could have sold those dishes. I don't really know. I personally don't think so. But you know what? Just to kind of ease it over, and hopefully they'll be happy, and then later on it leads to another pick. I know I'm going to at least break even. Like I said, I could have put 400 on it, and who knows what would have happened, right? But probably not going to get 400. Where was I going to go with this?
And the work involved too, like,
sure,
moving it.
Gas,
it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, sure.
It would cost them that much just to pay someone to move it.
So like, what I honestly think happened is that they've probably had it on Facebook Marketplace. They were getting ready to move, and they were a little bit desperate because nobody bid on it. That's kind of what I think happened. But I'm also under the impression too, like, listen, you have the option with technology today. You can go look all this shit up yourself. If you're asking me what I'm willing to pay for it, and I throw out a number and you agree, that's because you don't know, or you agree. You know what I mean? Like,
They want both best of both worlds,
They
right?
want the best of both worlds. Like nobody's telling me what it's worth. I have to investigate this. And sometimes it's fun. I enjoy it, but there can be a rabbit hole of an hour of investigating something.
And then
You
you
know what
find
I
out
mean?
it's worthless at the end of that rabbit hole.
Yeah. But it was really cool and I enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. So um, so I don't think people understand. Like it's fun to sit here and talk about. You
I
know,
always say, how many super rich resellers do you know? Like, I'm not disparaging like this career, right? But for everyone who's making good money and making a living, there's probably 100 people like, and of those 100 people, like 50% are just basically selling for what they bought for. And then people are making like,
I don't know.
if
I
you
don't
look
know,
at it,
dude.
if you
I
look at
know
it
I
per
know some
hour.
people that have done very well
Oh,
in it.
I'm sorry, I'm not, but those are the rare. That's the
Yeah.
80-20% rule. I think 80% of the people are basically, if you actually look down and see how much you're making per hour of work, you're actually not, not you, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
people
don't
are
know.
not
Like
nearly as doing as well as they think they are.
I think see, I look at it differently, and I'm not saying you're wrong on that, but I look at it differently. The people that aren't doing well aren't doing it right.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? I think if
Yeah.
you're doing it right, you're going to do well. And doing it right and doing it wrong, hey, do we know that guy?
Speaking of that,
Just his name clicks into my head every time. You know when you're doing it right, doing it wrong, doing it wrong. But anyway, kind of digress there. So I think if you know people that are doing it right, and maybe I'm very fortunate. Like I've learned from really good people. Now, I don't want to say names, but there's a few people I think are doing extremely well per year. But I think there's a lot of other people that, like, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, and he's passed on now, and he had so much toys, like so much real good old toys. He's probably got, and he had his own business. Um, dude, I hate to throw this number out, but if there wasn't $500,000 worth of inventory, there was $1 million, and he could have just took it to auction and probably cleared 500,000 after they took their percentage. Like he had so much amazing. It's like a museum, like just so
yeah,
much stuff.
I would say that's the exception.
I
It gets mixy too because for a lot of people in this business, they're not necessarily, a lot of their money might be from their own personal assets too, right? Like it's kind of, they mix it up. Like they started as a collector.
well, I
Who
think
knows?
we all have,
We all did, yeah. So
right?
it gets a little confusing.
So I look at where they ended, kind of, or where they are
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Um, and just because they're doing it part time doesn't mean they're not making more money than what they do in their full time job. Because I know people
Yes.
like that.
Oh, there is.
I'm
There
thinking
is.
of two people right off the bat
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
probably do more part time than their full time job, but this is just considered a hobby. You know what I mean? I can think of two people
Yeah.
right off the bat that are like that.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. That's
So
just my
I
impression.
don't think you are wrong. I
Yeah.
just, like I said, I think I'm fortunate to have met these people. You know what I mean? Um, I can think of three people actually now, and one is family member, so I forgot that person. So I should have forgot that person. But um, it's just they're in a world that I'm not even privy to. You know what I mean? It's a different different level, and
Different tier. Yeah.
so I can think of four, but the one person I just talked about has passed on now, so I'm left with the three. But those are just people I know of where I don't know. I don't know. I just I hate to talk. I hate to talk too highly of this situation because I know there's a lot of people that aren't there. But if you really know what you're doing and you're going to go out and hustle, like the one guy I can think of, he is all over the place. He goes to Montreal. He goes to the States. He goes
Yeah,
all over
I'm
the place.
not talking about those people, obviously, right?
I am because it's the same. It's the same. it's the same thing. They're hustlers.
Yeah, that's the
If you want to
20%.
hustle,
Yeah.
you can do it. Like this guy he'll be up at 5 o'clock. He'll do
Screw
his
that.
yard sales. By 8 o'clock, he's taking his son to a ball game. He's watching the ball game. After the ball game, he drops his son off. He goes all the way to Montreal or Ottawa, or he's hustling there. He'll grab 5 hours sleep in a hotel. He'll go to another,
Oh,
like he is, and then he works full time during the week. Like, and he's still picking during the week. Like, this is his passion. This is his life. Like, he's devoted everything to this because he loves it, right? We call it a sickness, but honestly,
and I have also met at
you're
least
not
half
an
a dozen.
NHL player if you practice once a week or play one game a week. You're out there every single day on that ice.
And I've
From a
met at
kid.
least half a dozen people who buy stuff and never sell and call themselves resellers. They
Well,
pile up their basement higher and higher and higher. They get a storage unit. They fill that. They get a barn and they fill that. I'm not talking about you. If you think I'm talking about you, I'm not about you.
no. But
Like,
I could call myself a rock star, but I can't sing a note. You know what I mean? I've said that before. Hey, I hang out with Tommy Lee,
right.
Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses because
Yeah.
I'm a rock star, but I can't sing a note, dude. I don't know. You know what I mean? So you can call yourself whatever you want. The bottom line is, and there's different levels, and wherever somebody wants to be in their life is
Oh yeah.
fine. But all I'm saying that if you really want to make money in this industry, dude, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? The sky's look at Craigslist Hunter. Tell me that guy, his business model can't be copied. Tell me that can't be copied.
This is not rocket science.
It is
None
not
of,
rocket science.
none of this is rocket science. Like if
Right?
you know if one number is bigger than the other number, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
But
he's that guy
yeah,
is doesn't sleep. You know what I mean?
screw that. I love my sleeping.
No, but I'm just saying there's things you can do to ensure yourself to whatever level you want it to be. But if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to do that. Like all those guys that play in the NHL, I grew up here. We had 9 people in my age category when I grew up. They went on to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
But those guys were at 16 years old, they're gone. They're playing OHL or they're always traveling playing hockey. They're playing hockey every day. They're always on the ice. They play summer hockey. You know what I mean?
Well, I can't
And then by
imagine what it
16
was.
years old, they're playing OHL, or
Yeah.
18, they're gone to university. You know what I mean? In the States, they've got some scholarship program. Like those guys live and breathe your hockey. If you want to be a YouTuber and you sit there and you live and breathe YouTube, you're going to be successful eventually, most likely.
Unless you
You're
put
going to
in
be more
don't put in
successful than the person that does nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So you can take it to whatever level you want. But you have to be a hustler. I don't know. Where'd you go, Carl?
I don't know. I triggered you. You're like, woo.
No, I don't know.
I agree. Here's one thing though. I've never
Well, I just want to
believe in working smart, not hard. So,
well, if you love what you do, you're not working a day in your life.
Well, there's that. Anyways,
right? If the one guy I'm going to come back to, the guy that is a complete hustler, and like he's out there pounding the pavement all the time. He's the one that set me up with these toy soldiers.
Yeah.
Right? If he's out there doing that, he's not doing it because he doesn't like it and he feels the grind every day. He's getting out there because he loves it. He wants to do this.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's smarter and harder. I think that pertains, like, if you love doing this and you want to find the way to maximize your efforts, I think that totally comes into play. Right? There's a way of being smarter about it than working hard about it. Like you can, for 100%. But it's really, it's getting to that yard sale first. It's getting to those private picks. And in your case, Carl, you're doing it too. You're overcoming your fear. You're getting in there. You're trying to understand how people do it so that you can do that, because you know that's where the money is. That's where the gold is. That's where those big finds are. So you're pushing yourself through your boundaries, which is very impressive. Like if that person's boundaries is getting up in the morning and he's got to push himself through that, he's doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where his passion is. And I feel like kind of I'm there too. Like I'll get up early. I don't want to get up early, but if I got to get up early and go to that yard sale and beat everybody else that's trying to beat me up
Adam.
for it.
Yeah. If you want to be there before Adam.
Oh, Adam's easy. Adam's easy. I'm always there before Adam. Because Adam's not into it full time. He's there, he takes the sun out, and if he finds stuff, which he does, like
that's more like me too, right?
And I've said this, he's got a full-time job, but Adam will say this, but you can get out at 8:00 and there's going to be yard sales that I haven't hit, or there'll be yard sales that I have hit. But my knowledge base isn't on everything. So we're always going to pick up stuff that someone else has left behind. The person I'm talking about, I've been there after him and I've picked up stuff. He pertains mostly to old stuff, but I'll grab stuff that he doesn't even care about, right? Because he doesn't sell on eBay.
Yeah.
So toy soldiers. He knows there's value there. Scott, go pick this up. I don't know exactly what they are, but they seem to be good. But I don't sell on eBay. I don't have a method of selling that stuff. So those are great contacts to have too, because now he's sharing that, right? He gets a compensation because I appreciate it, and I'm showing him appreciation. But yeah. I'm just saying, though the resellers can do good money if you want to hustle and make it, but you have to have the passion for it, or all it is a grind and like any other job otherwise.
Oh, if this was a grind, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Parts of it are a grind. Like anything. Like I don't think there's going to be aspects of almost everything that you don't particularly enjoy, but it's the rest of the stuff gets you through it, then it's good.
Yeah. All right, dude. What are you thinking?
That's great. So you ready for the next segment?
What? We have another segment? What could it possibly be?
Bolo of the week. I'll get one day. So do you want to go first this time?
I can go first this time. I think I kind of said something last week that I was going to do a Bolo of the week, but I completely changed it.
I know what you're doing already, but you go ahead.
What do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing a little lava lamp.
No.
I guess wrong.
No.
Okay.
I already talked about the lava lamp because I sold a lava lamp for $400 on eBay.
Did you?
Shipped it out, but that's not my Bolo.
Okay.
So my Bolo of the week, Carl, is something that I really didn't understand had so much value. And I still haven't really looked it up. Steph looked it up and she was telling me the values because she loved this stuff. But I went to a local mom and pop.
Yes.
What?
Precious moments. Yes. Keep going.
No, they're not precious moments.
Oh, man. I'm going to stop guessing. Okay. Keep going.
I went to a mom and pop thrift store and they usually have nothing. It's just it's a complete mess of a place.
Yeah. I can picture it without ever being there.
So I picked up these things and I picked up a old, those oval, like they're kind of Victorian, early 1900s, but they're oval. Sometimes there's like military pictures or their family, but they're that oval glass.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So in there is a picture. Well, the glass and the frame is gone, but somebody donated the picture. So I picked that up and I picked up what I'm about to show you. And I said, what do you want for this stuff? She goes, you know what? We're just trying to clear a lot of stuff out. I'm giving stuff away for free.
Well, that's a good price.
And I heard her say that to other people, but I didn't, as I was in there looking, she's like, just take it. It's free. Like I think there's some sort of charity thing and they might be through a church because they're very religious and they're always going to church and talking about church and stuff when I'm in there. So I don't know exactly the situation. However, they put stuff out on the curb, on the sidewalk, along the thing, a little bit off the sidewalk, but anyway, and they have signs for free. So they're always giving stuff away for free. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give you $10 for this. So I paid $10 for everything. I put $12.95 for that little picture of the that I was telling you about. But these things I'm going to put online. And these are fake cakes.
Okay, I would never have guessed this. Oh my
Fake
god.
cakes.
Okay, so he's showing me a life-size fake cake. What else is
Fake
there to
cake.
say? With fruit on top. Oh, and
Donuts.
donuts.
These
Yeah,
are donuts. Well, this one has to be glued down.
right. These are
But
fake donuts. Okay.
fake donuts with sparklies and sprinklies on them. A little fake cookie.
Okay.
A fake pie.
Oh wow. So this is a pie in a pie plate.
So
It's
they're
all
like a
fake.
spongy. This one has a bit of a spongy feeling.
Okay, this is new to me. I'm just assuming every time we're gonna do stuff is stuff I've seen you show me before, but not this time. Oh, this is
And
cool.
a banana split.
A banana split. Wow,
It's
and these look.
missing one of three cherries. It is missing one cherry.
It's very realistic looking from at least on
Very
the camera.
realistic.
At least on the camera. Yeah.
So just to kind of make this exciting for you, Carl.
Ooh,
Try looking up fake uh, pumpkin pie, fake cake, and let's see what kind of prices we can come up with here. Fake donuts, like they're
oh
the
my
cake is
god.
kind of what's that?
Uh, yeah, they're worth good money. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
Well, these ones particularly were around the $60 range. I think the banana
Okay.
split might be around 45 or something. But what are you finding?
A real mix, to be honest. One sold for 55.
Yep. Is this American or you Canadian?
US.
Okay, so let's go with. Okay, that's fine as long as you explain. But so about 60 Canadian was what I was saying.
Yeah.
The banana split.
So a lot of people, yeah, they're like 40 to 50 to 60. Yeah.
So I basically I got these for free. If I sell that picture for $12.95, I get my $10 back. But they are super realistic expialidocious. I mean, super realistic looking.
Yep.
So, what else are you seeing? You're looking. I see you're looking still, but as you can see,
Yeah.
right, they're like the strawberries on top of this cake, the gloss and everything. They look real.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
So, I think what they're being purchased for is maybe you're doing a photo or a movie or you want to display things that maybe you're selling homes or something, but you put these out because remember those candles that are glass and they got gold flakes in them.
Yeah, I've sold those before.
I've sold them too,
I forget the name of them though.
which I guess could be a bolo on its own, but
Lucite? Is that?
lucite, but they have to have the gold flakes in them.
Yeah, they had to have the gold flakes in them.
And red is more popular than others. I think blue is a popular color, but then there's clear ones and all that stuff. So I think I've sold the clear ones and the red ones, or maybe they were all red.
Yeah, I sold clear with gold specs in it.
Yeah, I think I had
money. It was good money. I can't remember, like 30 or 40 bucks. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that's about right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're paying $1 for them at a yard sale.
Oh yeah, and you see them sometimes at the Valley Village too.
Yeah,
on the baggy wall. And you have to make sure they're not broken. But apart from that,
yeah, and sometimes they'll have like I remember the red ones. They actually had like a maker's tag on them, like
okay,
right.
Good.
So, so anyways, it would be fake cakes, pies, desserts, but I don't know if they're spongy, but realistic looking.
I think the emphasis is on realistic looking, because you could see cheap ones that are not realistic looking, but this is a higher quality version that you're showing.
Yeah. Now I didn't even look like to see like if there's a maker's mark, especially on this pie. They might even have no. So I don't know if I don't think they're homemade. I think they're like they honestly they could be homemade. I don't think so though. I think they're, but I don't see a maker's name on them or anything. But
Cool.
I thought they were neat, and I bought them without really knowing, just knowing the price was perfect. And Steph actually researched them when I brought them home.
Oh, cool.
And so, I mean, there's nothing here. If I can get 40 for the banana split, 60 for the pie, 40, I mean, looking at 100 with the donuts and everything, I'm looking at about $150,
That's cool. That's really different.
right? So,
I've seen like fake sometimes you'll see the fake rocks, like, grapes and stuff like that.
yeah.
Fruit. Some of those fruits can, like watermelon, can be worth actually good money. But only certain ones, so it's kind of hard to say
Yeah. But
if you know what I'm talking about.
these are not of the same materials though.
No,
So
no,
not
no,
these
no.
aren't a hard plastic. These
Yeah.
well, the strawberries on the cake are like a hard plastic. The cherries, the stems are soft, but the actual, I guess the fruit, the berries themselves are hard, but the cakes and everything are spongy, right? The donuts, everything is spongy. Um, so they are going to be in a different. They're not real. They're not. Don't expect to find like. I mean, maybe they do have hard, like plastic, realistic looking ones too. But these things, honestly, they look absolutely real.
Cool.
So there you go. There's my bowl of the week, Carl.
Okay, so my bolo of the week is for real friends. Have you seen those before? I know I've shown it before. So these are
Can you say it? Did you say furriel?
fur, like fur as in like animal
Okay,
fur,
so not
real.
for real, furriel.
No, that's the I think what they're
That's the
trying to do.
catch, right?
That's catch. So they look like plush, except they have animatronics in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
now it's not all for real. There's only just a few of them, but I have found them a few times. The parrot. So you get this very bright parrot that's blue and orange, and it looks like a parrot, right? Called squawkers. And the key with these is that if it has all the pieces, so there's like a remote control for it, a little stand, and a cookie that goes with the parrot. And the parrot sells used for about $200, 150 to $200. And I've found these at Value Village a few times now, twice at least. If you get them new in the box, it can be worth like $300-400, right? But even used, they're good. So, and even if they don't have all the parts, I would still pick it up because you're still going to get $75 or something like that for the parrot. And at least for the two I've bought have actually worked. There's like other couple ones too. One's called like Biscuit, which is like this dog, and that can sell for about 100 plus American
Oh
each.
wow.
Um,
Do they have a realistic look to them?
I wouldn't say the parrot looks fairly realistic, yeah, but still a toy. It still looks like a toy. It's not like hyper realistic. Sometimes they'll come in the boxes too, which makes a big difference, I think, with the collectors. And there's a Curious Bear, and that's worth more like 40 American plus shipping. So
Now, if they don't work, did you say that there was a?
well, if they don't work and has like the bits and pieces that go with these things, like especially the parrot, like I've seen the remote control for the parrot by itself on the baggy wall, and you would have no idea this blue controller is worth money. But I think it's worth, like, if you have the time, it's worth looking at these, especially if you go to like garage sales or you go to thrift stores, because like I said, I found it a few times myself over the years. And it's all quick and it's fairly easy to test, right? It's kind of motion activated, voice activated stuff, kind of like a Furby, I guess, in a way. But the vast majority of the Furby for reals do not have value, so you can't just pick up any for real.
So I want to say this is definitely not a for real, but it was what did you call it? Animatronic? Or, no, what'd you call that?
Animatronic.
Animatronic. And it was I think it's called a Wuchi or something. I just sold it for, I don't know, I'm going to say $150 with the remote. But it was hyper realistic of a chimpanzee.
Oh, the face. Is it just
Yes.
the face? Yes, I
Yeah.
have seen that in real life, but they wanted
So
too much for it. Yeah.
so I had one. I just sold one, and the guy. This is one of the questions where the guy wanted it for Christmas,
Mm,
and he goes, "Is there any way I can get it before, like it was showing like a month and a half?" And I like, remember
okay.
that conversation?
Yeah.
This is for that monkey thing. So he was really happy with it. But anyway, what he was buying it for was a Christmas gift for his son, and he said his son, and because it was parts and repairs what I'm selling it for. I said it does power up, it does have movement, but uh, it doesn't seem to uh, be working on with all functions properly.
Okay.
He wanted it for his son because he said his son is a electronics kind of like a mechanical guru. Like he's one of these kids that are
He
really
likes to
loves to
tinker.
fix this stuff
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So he was glad that it wasn't working, but it was partially working. So it was something this kid could work on, like for electronics or something. So my question to you is, Carl, like, so if they're not working, is there still value there? Because I think people buy them as hobbies to fix them up. I think sometimes
Yeah.
people fix these up to resell them, and that may be what they're doing, but they also do it because they just love fixing. It's a hobby for them.
Oh, there's definitely people out there who buy, like I've sold like the flip clocks that don't work, and they were definitely buying it as a repair project. Like
Because
that,
they like
they
doing it.
like that. I don't. To me, it's insane. I don't buy projects. Usually, when I sell something broken, it's because I bought it not knowing it was broken.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
to each
But
their own, right?
thank God there's a value out there to get your money back, or
Oh yeah,
even still make a buck or two the other way,
yeah,
as broken. But so I like this kind of stuff. I'm gonna research it so it's a for real furry
yeah. FURREAL is one word. Friends.
because just selling this monkey thing, like it makes me think, wow, like eBay is amazing because even if it's broken, people are looking for that.
Yep.
I can understand the robot thing I bought, the Heath kit, because people are going to use them for something. But people are just buying stuff because they're hobbyists of wanting to fix things. So that opens up a whole new world to me. You know what I mean? Because I can
Oh
buy a
yeah.
lot of broken things. Trust me.
Oh yeah. Broken. No problem. No problem.
Right?
But yeah, like a lot of these toys, like I'm just looking at a little further down the list, and there's other ones in this category that have value too. But those, like the parrot, really stands out. Some of the other stuff is a little more difficult. Like Biscuit's going to be like the dog is going to like look more like a plush.
Okay.
There's pandas and there's bears, and some of them have value used, and some of them don't. Like whenever I like to price stuff, I like to price it for the used stuff because that's 90% of or 95% of what we find is used. If they're new, like new in box, that often will double the price. But if it says for real, I would probably Google Lens it, even if it is not the parrot or the dog or the bear, just to see. But just be aware there's a good chance it might not work, and it's the danger of this stuff too is you have to test it. So for the parrot, you have to get out the instructions. And you have to go like try different. I don't necessarily try every functionality of everything, but just enough to make sure that the arms move and the beak moves and the voice works and the voice activation works and the that stuff. A bit of work, but I think it's worth it for these things too, and they're kind of cool to be honest.
Yeah.
They're kind of fun.
No, very
So
good.
that's
I like any of that stuff that has good value when it's working, but is still pretty decent value not working.
yeah. At least you can get rid of it
Yeah.
if it doesn't
And
work.
sometimes parts and repair is easier because then you can't, there's
I
no
know.
complaining, right? They know what
Yeah.
they're getting.
I parts and prayer as I don't think I've ever had a problem. The only ever the silly thing is like, how hard do you think it would be to get it working? It's like, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be selling it for parts and prayer.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like I've only probably received that once or twice. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't that much. It was just funny. It's like, yeah, yeah.
But
Anyways,
no, that's great.
yep.
I love that kind
Polo,
of stuff.
yep.
So,
Polo of the week.
week.
There we
All
go.
right. What time is it now, Carl?
It's comment time.
Comment time. Boop, boop,
Boop,
boop.
boop. Did you are you ready?
Okay, so I'll do the first one on Spotify, and it is from Tina Mac. And this is a very short one. The strike is over. Thank
Yay.
goodness. So short, sweet, to the point, and very, very positive. The strike is over. Thank goodness. I
Yes.
agree, Tina. No more Canada Post debates. Well, Carl might try to slip one in there. Another great episode. Thanks. Well, thank you, Tina.
Okay, so I'll do the next one then from YouTube. Larry, Canada Post workers have been ordered to go back to work on Tuesday, but I won't be in a hurry to start using the service again until they clear the backlog and the inrush of new shipments. Yeah, that's why I think you can only drop stuff off on Thursdays. They're letting some time to get the system going again. Maybe wait until January to get back to them. Yeah, I'll after Christmas is over, I'll turn my store back on, but I'm in no hurry. I agree with Carl concerning rural remote delivery. Canada Post will always be cheaper because the rates are subsidized by charging higher rates in the urban areas.
Well,
Canada Post will always be cheaper because the rates are subsidized by charging higher rates in the urban areas. I had a message from an eBay user asking why the shipping charge on my item was $108 with UPS FedEx. Turns out they lived in remote BC. Canada Post was between 30 and 40 bucks. Thank you, Larry. I'll send you the money later. It's time for thank you, Larry. Let's go to Spotify.
This one's from Adam Wakefield. Sorry, guys. Hey, listen, this guy's a FedEx guy. He bleeds, what is it, orange, blue, and white? Sorry, guys. Too busy over here delivering Xmas packages to comment much. Listening to you guys while I'm working. Have a good Christmas and Boxing Day.
Oh, thanks. Merry Christmas to you too.
Thanks, Adam. And you know what? Thanks so much, because that's kind of why we did the podcast. So people that are out there working or people who are doing long drives, and Adam's doing both, can listen to us. So that's like, we fall perfectly right into his wheelhouse of why he's listening.
Well, for me, my flea market, hour there, hour back, it's usually perfectly timed.
And so, Adam, thanks so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I shouldn't be pushing UPS because Adam might, hey guys, talk FedEx a little bit, right? So, so thanks again, and well, we'll be here through Christmas and Boxing Day. But if you're not listening because of whatever reason, we'll wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Boxing Day as well.
Okay, I'll do the next one. YouTube from Carver Man or Salge. Hey gents, the reason I suggested the envelope mystery system for prize winner is that I need my nap before getting on the podcast. I can't sit at the computer waiting for the podcast to advertise. He's talking about that on Sunday. I told him, I saw him on the weekend. I said his idea was crap. I didn't like his idea. I poo-pooed it because the whole point is to award the first person. That's the whole idea of the award is you have to sit there waiting for it to refresh. So no, we're not doing random. So anyways, thank you, Sage, anyways, for your bad suggestion.
But I think that might be an interesting idea if there was a tiebreaker. So
sure.
Yeah, I'm glad he said the comment because we might still use it for that.
Yeah, I'm bugging Sage because I know him well.
I
can do that. Next
spot. Is that everything?
Yep.
Or did he leave another comment?
Well, no, do the next Spotify and then we'll go back.
All right. So the next one is from a new Spotify commenter. Melanie Harper. And she left a comment. So thanks, Melanie, and we'll read your comment here. I think you are leaving out the difference between rural and remote delivery. What? Oh, that's interesting. God. That's interesting. Yeah. That could be where we're crossing our ideas.
Sounds like a possibility, yeah.
Rural in most of Southern Ontario is not the problem. I agree. The fact that people in Labrador and Nunavut need to have a delivery of mail for the cost of a stamp means that Canada Post carries the responsibility to have equitable access to all Canadian addresses. Private carriers can pick and choose and eliminate areas that are not cost effective. Rural and urban is likely based upon population density.
Yes.
And then she says, Carl is right.
I like this already.
I don't know. I might have to cut that part out. I
What am I right about? Oh,
I
just
don't
lose that.
know. Like,
Oh,
I
right. What
think
I'm saying, yeah.
so. She's saying Carl is right.
There might be different versions of rural. Like, there's a big difference between where you are, right?
But I think what she's saying here is kind of saying we both could be right. And I say that
Uh-huh.
because she says rural and remote. So I'm going to say we are both right in that your version of rural could also be different than my version of rural. We both had different
Which is
versions of
why I said
rural.
I use the Canadian. I don't want to go back into it.
Yeah, but
But
you
can
didn't.
I?
But so then I asked you to explain what
I
you meant
did.
by that. No,
It's
you didn't.
Canada
You just
Post
said it's
definition.
whatever they say, and I said, "Well, what
Yeah.
do they say?" And you said, "I don't
I
know."
don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I
Oh,
needed to
what
know.
I don't have the whole Canada Post law book in front of me here. As much as fun that would be to read during the podcast,
Well, I can't be wrong on something I don't know what you're talking about.
you totally can.
Okay, apparently. All right, go ahead. You probably know Melanie, and you probably had her write that in there.
Yes. Thank you, Melanie.
Jeez.
No, thank you, Melanie. We appreciate the comment.
Eh,
Okay.
it's okay.
Is that it for that one?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know,
I don't know.
Carl.
You're reading it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was it.
Scott's going off the rails, so I'm just gonna go to
I'm
YouTube.
just teasing. I don't care.
There's another one from Carver. He's upset. Oh, another one from Carver Man. Salge. Carl, if someone says they have a lot of stuff to sell, as Scott says, I would go too. I walk in being friendly and real and tell people what I do and what it costs me to move it, and tell them that many items may sit for a while and that is holding up money. And that's why I can only offer this much. That's good advice, Salge. If people say something is worth a lot, unless I know what it is and can move it quick, I tell them I will pass because I don't want to insult them. Ooh, that's a good answer. Many people say you won't insult me. Yeah, they say that until you get chased or yelled at, like I've been. But yes, thank you. So that's good advice. If someone says something is worth a lot, like say they worth saying this is worth $200,
Yeah.
and I won't take less than 50, and I'm uncomfortable with 50, I might say that's fine. Let's put that to the side, and then I'll look it up. I said let's look this up together. If that actually happened, I'm not saying I would do that for everything, just in this weird
Yeah,
circumstance.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if there's something that, like, say you did look it up, if there's something that doesn't make sense for you financially to pay that much, I've turned stuff like that down before. That's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
If they say no, for I'm not gonna put it
And I
like
never
or
insult them either. I'll just say, like,
no.
I don't disagree with your price. It's just based on how much work I have to put into it, the commission and all this. I pay rent, all this kind of stuff. Like, listen, everybody's grabbing a piece from me while I sell it, and I got to consider my time and everything. It's just a little too much than what I feel comfortable paying. But I'm not saying
Yeah.
you're. I never say I never put down their product, and
No.
I never say that they're wrong. It's just I don't feel comfortable doing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it can be the object type too. Like sometimes for watches they're faked a lot.
Yep.
So I wouldn't pay a lot for a watch if I'm worried about it. Or
Well,
coin.
watches can, yeah. So, especially, I don't know, in my experience, so I could be totally wrong on this, but especially like more modernish ones, like, right?
Can look
Um,
really good.
like Breitling or uh, uh, Omega or what's the other one? Oh, what's the big expensive watch? Rolex.
Rolex?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Rolex
had
has always come up for auctions. We got a Rolex here.
Yeah, I've
And no
had
one
I've had and sold fake Breitlings and Rolex, and they will sell. I put them in my booth. I put big bold letters, fake, and working or not working. The Breitling was actually working, and I put $60 on the Breitling, and I think I put 25 or $30 on a non-working Rolex. I think it was 25. And they'll buy it for parts, right? So
Mhm.
I don't shy away from them. And they'll be covered in stamps saying 18 karat gold, and it's just fake,
Oh,
dude.
dude, my friend at the flea market, he's showing me these silver chains marked 925, and they were not solid silver. I didn't even realize it would fake silver chains. They
How do you
weren't
know
even
they're
thick. He tested it. He said they felt wrong, so he
oh
tested it, and yeah, they were not real. They were marked 925.
the thing I like about sterling is that, well, and it could be plated, don't get me wrong, and it still could be wrong, but I kind of find kind of weight and tarnishing can kind of give you an age on things. You know, where the newer stuff might be a little bit more difficult. Just a thought. But like I was pretty confident that the ones that had lions stamped and all through it and all that stuff, I feel those watch fobs, like I was pretty confident that's real 925.
Oh yeah, like stuff marked like that, I'd feel more comfortable. This is just a simple 925,
Yeah.
and also on chains, and people like to fake chains for whatever reason too.
Yeah.
So,
Like I find like silver's worth a little bit now, but for the most part,
it's not
like
worth your time.
it's
But
not worth your time, right?
I
Like a
know
piece of gold is different. I see
that's why
that.
that's
But
why I was surprised
yeah.
that had been fake. But he said he got caught, so you never know.
Like what are you going from $2 to
I
$5?
know people.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like okay.
So you want to do the next one from YouTube?
Uh okay, so you did so
Says
we're on doing it wrong here.
that's right.
And it says F.
4. You just hit enter. 4.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought, oh god, we
Unless he was paying
okay.
respect, which is a Call of Duty reference, but I'm pretty sure it was just hitting enter.
Okay, for the US, we can ship to Alaska and Hawaii with UPS, USPS, UPS, or FedEx. They are basically our version of shipping to Santa's House, Canada. Shipping via USPS is about 1/3 to 1/4 the price of UPS or FedEx. You just know USPS is taking a loss at the shipping. I'm sure the same situation exists in Canada land. Again, it depends on size, I think. Well, oh,
Oh no.
another toy soldier. Um, wait, he's sorry. He referenced Hawaii specifically, so I see what he's saying there.
Okay, so the next one, doing it wrong. If you switch to shipping policies, you could flip every listing you have from one method to another in maybe a minute. Sure, the shipping will be more expensive if you switched it to all UPS, but it won't cost you more. Sure, the shipping will be more expensive. It'll cost your customers more. They still sell. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I so I love shipping policies, but I think we both, or flat shipping, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. Shipping policies both like. Yeah, the customer's paying for it, but I always like to say that often customer, at least when I buy stuff, I combine the shipping and the cost of the item in total when I'm buying something. So if something else has more expensive shipping, I might not buy from that person, right? So the lower shipping we can offer to the customer, even though this is a big argument, I'm not going to get into it, but yes, technically they're paying for it, but in a way they won't buy your product if you charge twice as much shipping as the next guy, right?
Well, I find here, for me personally, that it's even harder because our shipping rates are much higher than the US for a lot of things. So to compete with them, you kind of have to take a little bit of a bite. Like you have to take a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, you take the hit either in the shipping you're charging or you take a hit in the price that you're asking to get it into the same overall cost.
Or you might sell less because you're too expensive, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So
that's the reality of the situation. Like honestly, that's one of the hard things to do as a Canadian is kind of figuring that out. Because when you look at solds on .com and .ca, I mentioned this 1,000 times, but just again, it doesn't show you what they actually paid in shipping for solds. It shows you the shipping it would have cost to get it to you.
Yes.
So that can be really confusing where the person who bought it and the person who sold it were both in the United States, and they could have free shipping on that. But you as a Canadian, when you look at that, you think they paid $30 in shipping because that's how much it would cost to ship to you, not what
Right.
the. So it
It's
can give you,
misleading.
it can be very misleading, and that gets me less now because I kind of get close enough usually. But you have to. They got
Well,
me a lot in the beginning.
you know,
I didn't know that.
and I think part of learning, like especially even like if you watch a lot of videos, especially I watch Lonnie and Candace because they show what they sold. That's their whole shtick is look what we sold today, and they bring it out and they discuss it. But when they bring up their little side little inboxes or whatever showing the item had sold, it also gives shipping. So when I understand kind of exactly where they are in shipping, like, and it's even more misleading because they're kind of on the West Coast, kind of, I guess, New Orleans area. Um,
West Coast.
like, so if they're shipping, or sorry, East Coast, if they're like East Coast shipping over to California on the West Coast, it's going to cost them more, or Chicago shipping to California or to Florida, it's going to cost more than somebody that's, and this is their words, like they say that, like, so they have, it's really, like I say, this is kind of weird, but if we ship things to to the Americans, it doesn't matter if it's going to California or to Buffalo, it's kind of the same price.
Yeah, it's off by $1 or $2. It's not as significantly different. Yeah.
Right. So, and that's using Canada Post. If I use UPS, then there is a difference. I don't know
Right.
if you noticed that.
I might have, but I don't use UPS enough to
Not
actually know
enough
that.
to, but I was forced to, so I'm finding that out. But
Yeah.
still not a great deal. Like but there is a difference there for sure.
Like it's like give me misleading in Canada. Like you'll see that, oh, this sold for like $15 plus $15 shipping. And you think, oh, okay, that's great. I can sell this for a total of $30. And then you list it for $15 and $15 shipping and it doesn't sell. And you're like, what the hell? And then you realize they actually have free shipping. You're actually going to make $0 on that item that you bought. Like it's easy to fall into that trap, but I won't keep turning that over and over again.
All right, Carl. So now we got Randy, Nova Scotia Celt 5218. Not to cause more friction between you two, but I agree with Carl on the rural delivery.
Oh, I'm hearing that a lot this podcast. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I guess charge me $18 to deliver from Nova Scotia to urban southern Ontario, but from Truro to Havre, Boucher, I guess those are locations, same province, 132 kilometers away. It cost me $34. Most carriers don't want to go beyond town or city limits. They will, but costs jump and delivery times are extended. Sometimes it's farmed out, not to the reliable character. I dealt with all the major couriers for over 20 years. To them, effective routes are top priority. Time and distance must be controlled. Thanks for another interesting show.
Okay.
You got the second one is Nova Scotia Go. Do you want me to read the second one too?
No, I was just saying that Don replied to Randy's comment, and I was going to read Don's reply.
I don't see that. Okay. Perfect. This will be interesting.
Okay. I've definitely been learning this during the strike. That's for sure. Anything in cities or along major highways is fine, but anywhere out of the way, quote unquote. Yeah. Can you please define that, Don? And the price goes way up. It's frustrating as all get out. I guess I get it. So that's Don. Okay, next we'll do Randy. I'll do Randy because Don's was short. Okay. Hey, Scott and Carl. Carl, when it comes to private picks, just do what Scott tells you and you'll be fine. Just kidding. Kinda. As uncomfortable as it may seem to you, you learn by doing. I agree with that, Randy. I am not that outgoing myself, but you have to get your hook wet to catch fish. So it's funny, it's because I can talk to people. That's not my problem. It just I have other problems. My first experience was not very good. Oh, great! This my confidence is not increasing. Another picker referred me to an elderly couple who were moving. He cannot move around easily, so the wife and I went to the basement. I negotiated with her, but when I thought the dealing was done, she said her husband had the final say. Just great. Carried the stuff upstairs and he wanted more for everything. Bought some, left some. Lesson. Find out who to talk to. Find out first who to talk to. The pain is temporary. Yeah, no, that's a good point because I think in this situation, the husband and wife, I believe, are both there. Um, you know, actually, that's a really good point because that would be very frustrating. You negotiate a price and then you have to kind of like up it after that. I'd be very annoyed.
Well, did he end up buying it or did he just leave it?
He said he bought some, left some.
I would have left it all.
Oh,
If
really?
we already negotiated a price, I would have said no. I said we already negotiated something. I'm good with what I had, but I'm kind of paying top dollar, and I would have walked away. And if they would have, like, I shouldn't say that because I don't know exactly what was all involved. Maybe if there was something I needed to have, I would have bought it. But yeah, I wouldn't get into that. Like I don't know all the intricacies, and Randy, he's pretty good at what he does. But I mean, I guess he's talking about his first time. First time, it's tough, but that just sucks. Like
that does suck.
Yeah, I've never encountered that, to be honest. So it's hard.
Well, that kind of happened.
I think I would have walked away. What's that?
That's kind of like when I bought that camera at the garage sale and I negotiated with one person, and then someone else was actually the final say. Mm-hmm. In that case, I had zero chance of understanding that. But in this case, husband wife, it's much more clear. Like I might actually try to remember that, Randy, and say before I negotiate what they're saying, is your husband okay? You know what? That I have to be careful how I say that because that sounds like I'm giving authority to him over her. So I don't want to do that. But you know what I mean? Figure out. Yeah, I'm not sure how to even do that. But that's actually very helpful, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's something to prepare for. Like,
yes.
It is very helpful because that's something that'll stay in the back of my mind now. So I've never had that happen. And in fact, I don't even think I've ever had a situation where one did not be part of it. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, it's a kind of unusual situation because you think if you were negotiating, she would. Usually, if felt like that, she would have brought it up first thing, right?
Yeah, I usually it's just one, like because the other one had passed away.
Yeah.
However, when there's more, it could be like a brother, sister, or husband, wife, because a family member passed. But I'll keep that in the back of my mind. I guess it was the two of them the time when we talked about the display case earlier.
Yeah,
they were both there for that, but that was just a one item. It wasn't really like a house pick.
Who negotiated that? Was the wife?
They're both kind of there, but I would say the wife was probably the. That's all cases, man. The wife is the one that's in charge. The other one's just kind of yep. Guys are like dogs. Women are like cats.
Okay.
We're just loyal, kind of hanging around type. Feed me. That's it.
Okay, should we go to the next one, Dawn?
I don't know. Stuff's up there like, oh, geez. Oh.
She's not listening. She's smart. So do you want to do the Dawn is in 2? So do you want to do the first half and I'll do the second half?
Dawn's got 2.
Yeah, she replied to herself.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the reply yet. Okay. All right. I'll do the non-reply. Like you can do the reply one because I can't see that. Good day, good sirs. Starting off very good. I don't know. Where is she hammering me coming up, right? Looks like the feds have maybe stepped in, and she's talking about Canada Post. I'm hearing rumblings that Canada Post service might resume next week as a pause in the strike. Honestly, Carl, I take pictures of these comments with my phone because my computer's on the other side of the room, and honestly, there's a glare right there.
Okay, do you want me just to read it?
It's just the first three lines. I can't read
Sure.
the last like two or three words.
So I'm hearing rumblings that Canada Post might resume next week as a pause in the strike while they work on a new agreement between now and May or June or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I have heard that this is only until May.
yeah.
So hopefully they'll make sure this doesn't happen again by May, but who knows? I was one of the people who didn't feel much pain from the strike until this past week. Once I realized that even within Ontario, if the customer's address isn't along a major highway, then the cheapest option becomes Pure Later and costs well over $20 for a freaking postcard. Lasai. I was about to change a bunch of my shipping again, before I heard the news this morning. So fingers crossed. Yeah, well, it looks like it's definitely happening. We got parcels today in the mailbox.
So all right, good. So I could read the rest of this.
Sure.
Okay, Carl. I know that. Carl, I know what you were saying about doing the private picks and worry about making the offers or looking through stuff and not having the confidence to make a quick decision without looking everything up. Scott, you offered some great advice, though. I think it's a matter of practicing it over and over again, like anything else. I agree totally. And pretty soon, everyone is the same. It really is. It's certainly something I struggle with too, but like I don't go out much. But again, thank you, Carl, for the candor. It really is educational to hear how you both handle things and how you are learning from potential mistakes, etc. But don't feel bad. It is difficult to try to steer things towards the good stuff and not just end up taking all of the garbage along with it and worry about sifting through it all. Well, and I think that's what we've discussed before about the benefits of having an option like, especially here in Canada, because Canada Post is expensive compared to the US, but like a booth or a flea market type setup. Because there's still value in that smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of little things that have $10, $15, $20 values, especially magazines, because there's always some really good magazines.
Wouldn't be so bad.
Right?
Yeah. I know
comics are crap. They're $3 or $4 a piece. If you want to go that way, you could say they're crap. But I sell comics like crazy out of the booth, and every now and then there's a nice one in there.
There's a good one in there, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Or there could be a bunch of good ones, and I almost threw those ones out, and I got $1,000 for them all. Like, remember that one? It's like
Donald Duck there, yeah.
So if you can find a way, and it's got to be good for your lifestyle too, right? Like, not everybody has a lifestyle where they can look after a booth. Some people might be full-time work, and you either do eBay or a booth. Well, just do eBay.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, no, for sure. Because this takes away half your weekend, really.
Yeah, like at least one day a week. I can organize stuff through at the house here, but there's other options too. You could take it to a local auction and just kind of, who cares? You're just trying to get a couple bucks. But if you took a whole thing of comics, like, I don't know, usually you get them in those long boxes, but let's just say for numbers sake, you get 100 comics and you pick, I don't know, 10 of them or 5 of them, but you paid $50 for all of them, but you could put a few of them online for $30 a piece or something. Take the other ones and auction them off. You're still going to probably get your money back, and you know what I mean? And all you're doing is dropping them off at an auction house. I have done this quite a bit, so I have a connection now. But there's other way. I guess basically there's other ways to deal with it. Throw them on Facebook Marketplace. But I wouldn't, like me, I just put $3, $4 a piece on the comics and throw them in my booth.
Yeah.
Right? VHS tapes, DVDs. Like, so I've been enjoying. It's hard to dismiss, and you use the proper term. If you dismiss some of the stuff, you're going to miss the valuable and the valueless. So if you have a way to get rid of the valueless and still make a few bucks, I think it's worth it. I don't know.
Well, for example, one thing she said, it was a bunch of pinwheel glass, clear pinwheel glass. I kind of said no to that because I had no interest in clear glass. but we'll see.
I stay away from pretty much all clear glass.
Yeah.
Like even maybe if it was a Waterford crystal with no like fogginess or chips or like it's got to be perfectly mint. It's got to look brand new, you know. Maybe
I
even have the box. I don't know, but
exactly. I have like we'll see, but I have a bad feeling about that stuff because she collects it, which probably means she paid up for it, which probably means she knows the values of it in her head, what she paid, and wants that money back. And I won't be able, like, I won't pay more than $1 a piece, no matter what.
for the glass,
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay anything. You know
Yeah.
what is good though, Carl, for your booth is beer glass. Do you do beer glasses?
I do. No, I do have some like, Coca-Cola glasses and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
none of it's actually sold. I think I have it overpriced, to be honest.
Well, Coca-Cola is so overdone. I have some
Yeah.
Coke stuff too, but it just I think I actually sold a couple today, Coke glasses. But anyway, usually it does linger around. But if you get seasonal like Christmas stuff or Disney,
Yeah, the
they're
Coca-Cola polar
usually
bear stuff, but that hasn't moved either. So
yeah. But if you get Disney, like some of those Disney glasses are really, really collectible. You might not get more than $5 or $10, and glasses can be very heavy to ship, right? Plus it's glass, so you got to bubble wrap it and
ugh.
everything else.
And it can be damaged and yada yada yada.
But you can usually pick up like I don't know, 5 or 6 glasses in a box for $5 or $10, and you can put $5 a piece or $8 a piece, and they'll sell like crazy. Just a lot of times, people, if they're different like images on those glasses, even the same image, I guess they're probably picking it up to use, but people pick all of them up when they come in. So
Yeah,
keep that in mind too, because you're going to see a lot of that. Now, I said that in the summertime at yard sales, you'll see a lot of that stuff. But
I
just
picked out some WWE ones this summer. I already sold one for $30 or $35. That was pretty good.
and if you
Can't
get the
remember.
Brutus the beefcake, that one's worth like $45 online.
Yeah, that was the one I think actually.
Yeah, I just sold that this summer too. I had it. I think I had $5 or $10 on it at home. Oh no, sorry. Steph was with me. We're there, and I think we had $10 on it, and I'm gonna look this up, right? So I looked it up, and it's like $45. I bring it home, list it, and it was sold. So
Yeah,
we almost put it in the booth for $10.
I think it was that one. I didn't get as much as you did though. Well,
But
actually, you're talking Canadian. That's the other thing, eh? It's
yeah,
like I'm always talking American. You're always talking Canadian. So
yeah, I live in Canada, Carl.
I know,
You know, eh?
I know. Eh?
What about what about what
I
about
got. Oh no, I have Macho King, Macho,
Macho
Macho,
Man, Randy
Macho
Savage?
Man. Yeah, I
Macho
got
Man.
35 American for that. So there's
Yeah,
that.
there you go, $45 Canadian.
45. There you go.
Yeah. Um, I think it matters pricing overall, like anything else. I struggle. I certainly sometimes I struggle with the tool. With the tool, she got it's a two, TOO, but exclamation mark, and I thought it was an L. So anyway, let me read that again. It's certainly something I struggle with too, but like I don't go out much. Okay. But again, thank you, Carl, for your candor. It really is educational to hear you both handle things the way you are learning from potential mistakes. But don't feel bad. It is difficult to try. I think I already read this. I was
Yeah,
sitting through it all. That's another thing I feel awkward about. I think we both just overthink things, my dude.
I think so.
All right, I will listen to the rest tomorrow. I've made it an hour so far. Okay, so she's got more there. Anything we want to discuss there?
No,
I think she's right. I like personally, you guys probably overthink it. Like the only advice I have is something that does come naturally to me. Maybe I think it even did the first one I talked about earlier. Is have fun with it. Like I go there, I don't go there. I go there business minded, but I don't go there business attitude.
well, that's good. I like that.
Right? Like I don't even jump right into it. I'll talk to them, and find out what's going on. And I hate to even say this because it really is true what I'm about to say. I'm not just saying this, but I find the history of things and how it got to where it is, fascinating. Almost as much as the item itself. And I'm being truthful about that. So I don't know, maybe it comes off that I'm actually interested and they like to tell the story of, you know, the husband or wife or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
sounds very sappy and
No, I'm the same
it
way.
sounds
It's
like I could be full of shit,
like when
but I really do like, especially when I get into something that I find crazy interesting. Like those pilot outfits.
yeah,
Like as soon as I saw them hang on the wall, I'm like, that is so cool. Like it really resonated, I guess. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, I do.
So when the firemen, like,
You're not
just
being fake when you're showing interest in this stuff, is what you're trying to say. It's
well,
like,
yeah, well, 100%, I'm not being fake when I show interest in this stuff, but I don't want you guys to say, "Oh, Scott's just being sappy," and he really is all about the money. Well, I mean that is a big part of it for sure, but sometimes maybe that's what comes off too. Is just I just like hearing the stories too. So
I do. Like I said, when I'm at the flea market, I talk to people all day. It's great.
yeah,
And then genuinely interested in what they're saying.
yeah,
So it's not just all about the
that's
selling.
right, 100%.
She
Okay,
says like one thing we talked about is like not taking up any try to steer things towards the good stuff and just not ending up taking all the garbage along with it. That's I'm going to work on that, because sometimes it's tempting just to say, "Oh, I'll take this too. I'll take this too." And then you end up with a bunch of stuff that you don't want. Like I don't want.
yeah, I agree
I don't mind a
100%.
gamble. I don't mind a
I
gamble, but
Yeah, I agree 100%. My only kind of contradiction to that would be, don't dismiss stuff you don't know as junk,
yes,
because I learned so much from the stuff I take really low risk but a chance on. You know what I mean? If I can throw it in the pile,
yeah.
some people might say, "Oh my god, I don't even know what that is. It's just more stuff you throw it in the garbage when you get home." Like,
As
but
long as
still,
it's cheap, yeah, yeah.
as long as it's cheap. As long as it's cheap. But it's sometimes it's worth the gamble. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. I That's just the way I do it, right?
It's like
I don't want you next episode having like 50,000 feet of crop behind you saying, "Scott, I took a chance, man. It was the wrong thing to do." you know, I can't
dude.
get
I
I
donate
can't
so much stuff you don't even know about that I've shown on the show. So like, what was I gonna say? I can't remember now. But yeah, no, it's oh, I remember auction lots. Like that's the thing with auctions. Often you get stuff you have no interest in, like that big red faced Santa you actually found as well.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea until I actually had it in my hands. There's no way I would have checked it beforehand. It's like, oh wait a second, this is the most valuable thing in the lot.
Well, when you guys were talking about the red face Santa, I was thinking, like, when I saw it, I'm like, I can't remember what they said it was worth. Is it like $300-$400, $500? Is this something like
Oh
super rare? And I started looking it up, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one, because this was all like around $100, right?
yeah, even less than that.
Even less. So
Yeah,
I like, Carl, is this what you guys were talking about? And I sent you all that
yeah.
text and stuff, right? And that's what you're talking about. Now they wanted, I don't know, 35 or 40, like
It was too
39.
much. Yeah, I remember I said it was too much.
Too much.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't pay more than 20 for one. I think I said.
yeah, but I was, when I first saw it and I saw $30, I'm like, I think they're like saying
This
this
is
was like really
oh
worth a
no,
lot of
that would
money.
be
It's really
horrible, eh?
rare. Uh,
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't. That would be horrible.
I know, but well, I mean, Google Lens was my friend, and so were you, Carl, because I was able to contact you too. So, um, anyway, yeah. So, I can't see any more of Don's stuff, so I'll let you do the reply part.
Okay. All right, I'm back. Damn right, we're gonna win. Wait. Win what now? I don't win. I don't win. I don't know what she's talking about.
Because I said women win. If they
Oh,
want something, they win. If Steph goes to an auction and she wants something, she's gonna win. She's getting it. That's what I'm saying.
okay. Good memory. Hope the bolo of the week doesn't keep stressing you out, Carl. It is stressing me out. It should be a fun thing, not anxiety inducing. That's easy enough for you to say, Don. You're not doing it. I can see. Okay, I haven't found many new. I haven't found many blank new cassettes. The ones I do find haven't sold. The Maxwell HD-X are the ones I have. I had to go look. I might just donate them soon, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was that one of the ones I mentioned. I can't even remember now. That was like forever ago. Like I said, there's a whole bunch like I won't pick up now of the cheaper ones. So yeah, I can't even find that one, Don. Like when I did a quick oh, I found yours. Yeah, but okay. Those aren't audio cassettes. Those are for camcorders. I don't like those very much.
So you're talking about the audio cassettes that go with the radios
audio.
and stuff,
Yeah,
and you could record music on back in the day.
Yeah, audio cassettes.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure these ones are being purchased at those prices because bands use them to make their to record their music. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can see lacrosse sticks selling for sure. I just don't want to ship them. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Easy to ship, 100% easy to ship, 100% easy to ship, 100%.
You heard it here first. No projects, thank you. She says. I think the word we're looking for is deer sinew. And the material used for the netting, also used in indigenous drums, tents, and a bunch of other stuff. Some are just strips of leather as well. Nowadays, I think the netting is mostly nylon. Maybe still some still use leather, but not so sure. I don't know anything about the game though. Yeah, it's okay. I don't really know anything about it either.
Yeah. From what I saw, they really resembled a lot of the resemblance was a lot like the stuff they use for baseball gloves for the stitching, but it's like a leather. I'm sure back in the the 1800s, I'm sure they used different. Yeah. Well, I mean, leather was still quite common, but they might have used it differently. Like they might have had something even better. I don't know. But that's what it looked like to me, and I don't know. I would sell lacrosse stick 24/7 if I had that access to
lacrosse.
But the old stuff, right? The older.
I get what you mean about Pelee Island now, Scott. I was thinking more vertically. So that was the California and Pelee Island thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I have my own Etsy. I have my Etsy account added to my Styling Express account. So just like with eBay, all my orders are imported and synced. So I think that was the case where we said Etsy had to use Canada Post, but I think that was Poshmark that you have to use Canada Post. I don't know if that's in the reference that she's talking about here.
I think listening to Jamie Thrift on Fire, I think he was having not issues, but he was messaging people saying, listen, Canada Post is, but he had to do that through Poshmark and just let them know. And some people canceled the order and some people kept it, but he couldn't ship out because he could only get his label through Poshmark. So I think that's true based on him.
Yeah. Read Canada Post versus Stallion on eBay. Stallion Express is still cheaper than the rates eBay gives with Canada Post. Yeah, no, it's funny. That can happen sometimes. I think it really depends maybe also on where you live, like where you're shipping from makes a difference on whether it's Stallion Express. So it can be a little complicated. Like I said, with Chit Chats, every time I checked, it was approximately the same as Chit Chats in the last year, or slightly more expensive or slightly cheaper. But Canada Post is practically at the end of my block, where Chit Chats is 20 minutes away or 25 minutes away. So that makes a big difference for me. And it's not my long driveway that is getting deliveries. I live in a suburb. I mean, in the general area. I am not an RR. I just drive through those on my way to London if I don't take the 402. Okay. Toy Soldiers. I was just using that as an example, talking about your son working for you. As in, he would just put in the dummy title, and the photos and nothing else until you're comfortable with him doing the listings, so that the photos are already uploaded somewhere and you don't have to go through them all in a big mass of files or whatever. It would already be split up into the respective listings and waiting for you just to do the listing. It could go either way, though, I guess. Do whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I don't so much disagree with it. Sometimes I just try to explain what my thought process is, but I don't dispute that for 1 second. Like, I think we were talking about, just doing things that have been done twice. That's what I was trying to prevent. But to actually do it, you know what? At the end of the day, if I was to let him go with it, he could probably list things way better than I do. But I just know personally, I know you call it micromanaging. I call it falling in love with my eBay business and my little baby. No, but seriously, it's there's other ways to do it for sure. I'm not saying mine is right. It just makes sense to me. And if I can sleep at night because I did it, then to sit there, oh my God, what did he do? What did he do? I gotta go check. Like that, I'd be a nervous wreck. So,
well, he's doing drafts, right? We're not. Like, she's not talking about you. We're not talking about him actually clicking the list button. We're just talking about she's saying, like, by having the dummy listing up, all the photos attached to the proper listing, having the title correct, having all the stuff out, he's done
okay.
80% of the work.
So we're talking toy soldiers, right? So other things could be different, but let's just talk toy soldiers. Toy soldiers are really basically the same listing over and over and over again. Even if it's a different model, it's a change of 5 numbers, right? So what I'll do is I'll do Britain's, sell similar, everything comes up as the previous listing. I erase the pictures, put the pictures in, and pretty much the wording is all the same. Now, it could be like cavalry or infantry or something like that, but pretty much is the same. The thing that I'm very particular on is more so any damage, because those are for a later time. So, you kind of bounce around. I guess I'm bouncing around a little bit with it, but there really is, I don't know. It's really very simple just to hit sell similar, look for any damage, and sell that again. And just drop in the picture. So could I have him do it and all that kind of stuff? 100%. 100%. And then just go and do it afterwards. But if I'm looking for damage and I can hit sell similar myself and all the information's there, I'm looking for damage and everything's fine. Change a couple numbers. I don't know. I'm going through each one and the listing itself. To me, it's just the way I look at it. If, like, for an extra 10 seconds of time or 30 seconds or even a minute, I'm going to be there going through it anyways. So that's just kind of where I'm going with it. But I'm not saying it's wrong. If he was to draft them, or if he was to list them and put them in drafts, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just, I don't know. I'm just a non-trusting jerk boss.
You do you. I think, like, putting the photos in actually takes some time usually. Like when I create similar, I don't have to delete the old photos like from another listing. I don't know why, but maybe it's because I'm not listing. I do sell similar, but maybe not like one of the same type over and over again. So I don't.
So what we've done is we've done what we did last time when we discussed this last time. Sell similar is your only for your listings, and it'll come up exactly.
Oh, even with the photos, yeah.
But if you put in sell it yourself, now it doesn't have photos. It doesn't have your description or your condition. It's they're two different things.
That's true. I forgot about that. Putting in photos does take a little bit of time though.
Like, honestly, dude, I can do, like, it's so awesome. The system we had set up with Brett, as I can sit here and probably within 5 minutes do a toy soldier. If I don't get distracted by the TV and change the channel and turn it up and do this and, but when I think I had 20 minutes this morning. I did 4 in 20 minutes before I came on with you this morning, like to do this.
Yeah.
Right. So they're pretty easy, and that's editing the photo, uploading the photo, editing them, and then putting in the information. So,
okay. I think there's a difference between the initial constant supervision during the training process and micromanaging after the person has already been trained. Yeah, that's true, Don.
I agree.
At the end of the day, creating listings on eBay isn't rocket science. Hey, we've said that already today.
Yeah.
Oh, this is rocket science. It just takes practice. I'm sure your son will learn it without too much trouble. Well, I didn't realize that Canada Post was the only one allowed to do letter mail. That explains a couple of things. Yep. Rural and rural are different things. That's all I'm going to say about that argument. Yes.
That's what I was saying.
Yes, you are correct. And then have a good week. Well, you too, Don.
Yes, thanks, Don. You have a good week as well. Anything else, Carl?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome. Okay. Do you want to keep rambling on, or do we just call it a day?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, Carl. Always a pleasure.
Always is, yes. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks for coming out. We're here every Friday, Spotify and YouTube. And leave a comment, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Merry Christmas.